Benedict, so what are we expecting to hear from the Prime Minister later today?
Well, it's certainly a very busy Monday, which is very clearly dominated by COVID-19 and the government's response, the Prime Minister's response, Boris Johnson. He is under pressure, as his ministers are, not just the health minister, but also the Chancellor, because of the health damage and also the economic damage that the pandemic is having on the United Kingdom. So what Prime Minister Boris Johnson will do later on this afternoon in Parliament, around about 4:30 Paris time, is make a statement to Parliament. We understand that it's more to set the tone and the parameter. He is the United Kingdom Prime Minister, but what he will be announcing are restrictions on health for only England, so one of the four nations that makes up the UK. Now, we know from data, and we've just had it confirmed in a government scientists briefing that we've just had to the public, to the media, that the northwest particularly, but also the northeast of England are particularly badly affected. So one of the cities that we believe will be part of this new three-tier alert system to do with COVID-19 will be Liverpool, and we understand that that will be a town that will be under some of the heaviest restrictions. But of course, a lot of attention is being paid to the data, and government advisors have just been saying again how admissions to hospitals have been rising, with more elderly people needing urgent treatment for COVID. It's young people, but actually they can contaminate older, vulnerable people, and we're now talking about people as early as their early 60s.
Is the UK government losing control of this virus, Benedict?
Well, that is the criticism. I think that the criticism that is landing the most is the criticism of the not terribly good communication, the lack of clarity in the message, depending on where you are, whether it's in England or in one of the other four nations, whether it's Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. Because what we've discovered since certainly the lockdown that we had back in March, where the whole country was in a national lockdown, is that the four nations are moving at slightly different tempos with slightly different restrictions. And according to where you are within those four nations, there are different restrictions according to which city. What is the logic of that? How we certainly had a press conference that got a huge amount of coverage from Labour mayors, it has to be said, although we have, of course, to remind everybody, our view is a Conservative government, but very much saying that it's not right to have a uniform approach in certain regions and very tough restrictions when it's not warranted by the number of infections. So we'll see what the Prime Minister announces later. But what it has to be said is that polls, mostly across the United Kingdom, support tougher restrictions, even if everybody's anxious about what they will be.
Bénédicte Paviot reporting there from London. Thank you.